Hey guys, Tom 1992 of Retribution Gaming, and again, I'm joined with Bing this week.
Hello, everyone. Being here, glad to be here again.
So, we're going to be covering a couple of late patch notes, I guess, that they delayed, and a couple of other topics as well, like some questions and answers from the AMA and stuff. So, let's get right into it. And Bing, I'm putting you on the spot again this week, buddy. If you want to read the update to the inventory and XP buffs.
Cool. So I will go kinda in diagonal just to be a bit quicker because the whole post is pretty long. But basically, what's happening right now is that they are pushing the patch that was supposed to be this week for next week instead, because they want to really fully test the new dust system and make sure that it's ready to ship. Unless it's going to break the game more. So, they really want to push that to its limit to make sure it's all right. So they're going to pretty much push everything back for a week. We don't have an exact date yet, but which is supposed to be next week, or I guess it will be this week by the time the podcast drops for you guys.
Yeah.
And other than that, they are also adding a bit of EXP change with it. So now, mini bosses, which is pretty much the boss that comes at the very end of a dungeon, will give 1.5 time more EXP that they currently do. And hunts, so actual bosses that you just fight in their arena, will give 3 times the EXP they do now. And they should fix the bug that some of the weapons are showing as rifles for some strange reason. And I think that's pretty much it. Yeah. So that's the patch that is coming next week. And also, I'm not 100% sure on that, but I think the new weapons that have been showed by accident a couple of weeks ago are also coming with that patch.
I hope. I really do hope.
Yeah.
What are your thoughts on the XP changes that they're doing to the mini bosses and to the actual boss battles as well?
Well, for the mini bosses, I'm not sure how much it will change things because I'm not sure in a full dungeon run, how much the bosses themselves give EXP compared to the rest of the stuff you do. So, not sure if it will have a big impact, but I mean, more XP is more EXP, so we're gonna take that. I think the 3 times more XP on actual bosses though will be interesting because some of them are really, really quick to kill. So I think it might become one of the fastest way to actually gain EXP, which is gonna be interesting. But I think the only way to make this optimal for EXP farming will be with the little bug that people have been using to requeue while you're already in the dungeon. So you save the time of loading back into Skylight and then loading back into the dungeon again. Pretty much. I think that's gonna be the only way that this is optimal. Otherwise, it's just not gonna be worth it. I think. But I mean, better than nothing. More EXP is always nice. I wish they would have addressed the fact that the side quests don't give any EXP at all, or barely like anything. But I guess they're keeping that for another time.
Yeah. I'm at the boss battle ones kind of have me kind of intrigued because if you can do a boss in like 3, 4 minutes, it isn't going to be too bad. But you are going to want to group for that requeue feature
Yeah,
that
I
they
mean,
currently have.
it,
If you're doing it solo, kind of 50-50 if it might be worth it. But if you're doing it as a group and you can get that boss down, um, yeah, could possibly. I think the XP would be like 4K odd, right? In that region.
I mean, I didn't check the actual numbers. Maybe I should have, but I think right now buses give about 1.5k EXP around that, so should round up to about 4.5, maybe 5k EXP, which is decent. I think, if I recall right, most dungeon runs give about 15k, and the really end game one in the forest. If you like do them on sphere floor and do the full dungeon, give about 30k from what I've heard. So 5k seems pretty decent for a like 3 minutes fight. So yeah, I think it will be worth it, but you really will have to abuse the requeue bug that's in the game right now to make it worth it, because otherwise you'll be spending more time in loading screens and actually, fighting bosses.
I'm kind of really glad that that bug's in the game though, right? Because I've been
Yeah.
farming the artifacts and not having a real fun time with that, I gotta say, like, or even like Dread Legion, for the accessories and stuff like that. Not fun when you've got to do it 50 plus times. I think for what I can't remember the boss now. The twins.
Yeah.
Um,
Yes. Storm Twins. Yeah.
that was really over 100 plus runs. Like I put it in chat how much it was. It might have even been 200 runs.
Yeah.
It was a crazy amount, and when I got it, I was like really happy. But oh man, that was some pain to endure to get that.
I guess I've been hearing a lot of people saying how much pain it is to farm the artifacts, and I kind of like glad I've been really lucky because I've actually got the first artifact from like the first time I actually fought her and killed her. And Storm Twins, I think I got it on like my third kill probably. Like I got them and didn't even realize until someone pointed out for me that I had both artifact. Right now I'm missing the Grand Deceiver one, but there's no way I'm farming for that guy. That fight is so boring that I just don't want to farm for it. So
I've still
um
got to farm
um
that for the accessory as well.
yeah, I mean prefer to stay poor than just farm a goddamn Deceiver. Really don't like this game.
Okay, so let's quickly brush over the Tooth and Claw and Epitaph and stuff shown as rifles, right?
Yeah.
So are these like for people listening, and because I've not really focused too much on this issue, um, like do you know the ins and outs? Like, are these actually usable still, or is it like can you still take them in a mission and swing them around,
Oh yeah,
or
yeah.
is this?
They are perfectly usable from what I've seen, at least. They just like it's just their appearance that's bugged and showing as rifles or something. Actually, my own Tooth and Claw is doing this. Like when I equip it, it just shows as my currently equipped gun skin. For some reason, my Epitaph doesn't do it, but my Tooth and Claw does. And I'm really like I would be eager to know like why is that bug happening and why is it so hard to fix. Like I don't know, it seems so random that just two specific weapons are showing as rifles for no reason, and it's not happening to everyone for some reason.
I
So
kind
I'm
of I do get it, but if they're usable, as you say, why is this a big issue over other stuff? Like
I
this I've seen a lot of like on Reddit and the Wayfinder Discord, but I still don't get why this bothers people over like people missing items from the shop and stuff like that. Like why is this more talked about than them?
honestly, I have no idea. I can't fully say if they are actually usable or not because, as I said, my Tooth and Claw is bugged, but I didn't really use it, so I don't know. But like from my how my UI was set up and stuff, like I still had the sword and shield UI. Like I didn't have any rifle stuff, so I figured that it was perfectly usable. But I would need to take it for a spin to really know. But if it's really just cosmetic, then I really don't know why people are making such a big deal about it. Like, I mean, for me at least, I just find it funny. Just the idea of just swinging a gun at people just seems pretty funny. But I guess if people like want to work on their fashion or something, they can't because stuff is bugged. But I don't think it's that big of a deal.
Um, I
Oh,
I I don't recall if it is on these notes or not, because they have been edited since. But there was that. small controversy that I'm pretty sure it went along the lines of we released the game in early access and stuff. They don't have like they're not looking to for player numbers and stuff like that.
Yeah, yeah, I know what you're talking about.
Can you briefly like you might have a better version of it because again like I
Yeah,
can't remember how the whole thing was because I haven't got it up in front of me and they've obviously changed some stuff around on this. So
yeah. I don't have the message on and either myself sadly, so I can't like read it out loud just to say how it was, but I remember it being something around the line of like, right now the game is in early access. We're not looking to like grow our player population. We're just looking at like data and like what's working, what's not working, what needs fixing and stuff like that. Which, to be honest,
I've just found it. Here we go.
I found it. Okay, so you can read it then.
Yeah, it is on the second up from the last paragraph on this. So yeah, it looks like whatever they edited, it wasn't this part. Maybe they toned it down a bit. I don't know, but it does say again, we appreciate everyone being here and helping us build early access. I've seen
Yeah,
some conversation about player numbers and decline, and I've said it to people in the moment, so our memorialize it now. We don't run early access to acquire new players. No one at D or Airship has metrics and KPIs. We have to hit about getting X players in by X Y date and need to sell Z items. Um, which is quite a bold statement, right? To make.
yeah. I mean, like just under if you keep reading a bit, now that I have the message too. We said it when we announced, we said it before early access, we put it into the game login screen, but it's worth repeating that we are using this time to look at data and tune systems. Our next big attempt at improving some of the player experience and getting new players will be Founders Season 2, with the ultimate goal being free to play in 2024.
See, I'm 50-50 on that. Like, I do get that they need to put a statement out like this, but you do need players
Yeah,
for early access, right? So,
that's pretty much where I was going with that too. Like I agree with them that right now it's not the time to grow the game and stuff like that. Like, yes, you are right. You need to fix your shit and to tune your systems and make stuff works. But like if you don't have people to test your stuff, then you're not going anywhere, right? So,
yeah, you're going back to how it was before the early access at that point. So,
yeah.
that's
Like
kind of where the issue lies, I think, and a lot of people on the Wayfinder Discord and Reddit, more the Wayfinder Discord, though, picked up on this part, and it was pointed out to me by one of the guildies, and I get it, but to say you don't need to acquire new players, well, you kind of do in a way,
yeah,
for testing purposes at least. Because at the moment you've got a lot of people. I mean, we've got people in the guild right now, and even in the community section, that are not logging into the game until stuff's fixed. Right.
yeah.
We've even got one of our officers that tried to play it this week after taking some time away from the game for it to get fixed up and stuff, and he said when he logged in, it was downright unplayable. Like some parts were even worse than before, where he just couldn't.
Yeah, I mean,
Uh,
I was there with him when that happened, so I can kind of tell a story. Basically, it was one of our officers indeed that was making an event just for have people logging in and have fun and stuff like that. And we had like 5 people coming. Like we were 5 overall, I think, which is not a lot, but it's, more than enough to make a small event. And on those 5 people, 2 of them had troubles logging in the game, and myself, I had like a lot of flag and frame drops, which weren't there a couple days before, so I'm not sure where's that coming from. Like, I feel like something somewhere just broke again, and the game is struggling again. Because yeah, I've been having a lot of flag and issues that I didn't have like 2 days before for some reason. So I'm not sure what's happening with that. But that's clearly not ideal. Not sure if there was a recent like patch that I've missed or something, but
Yeah.
you could
To clarify with that event though, Malt made it way too late. Like,
be
um, like it was, I think, midnight for most of the EU lot.
yeah, no, yeah,
Yeah,
that's
yeah,
why we didn't have a lot of people. But honestly, right now I'm glad that we didn't have a lot of people because stuff was just so laggy that like it was barely playable. So
yeah. I think some of these events, which are like they're really great, the way people are putting them across. I think some of them might be okay for when the game's stable though, and but
yeah,
yeah, at the moment, state of game at this point in time of recording is there's people that are dedicated to play the game, and then there's people that just don't want to part with so much stuff, so they're taking time off from the game. So I mean, we have quite a few guildies and officers, like they're all away from the game at the moment. They're still chilling in Discord and that with us, but yeah, some of them are having a really bad time, really bad time.
yeah. I mean, even like myself currently, I managed to get every single Wayfinder and weapon. Like I finished that yesterday. That was my goal for now. And right now, with the state of the game, I don't want to really level them up because it's taking so long that I feel just gonna be like almost a chore to do it. So I don't want to do it. And other than that, I don't have much else to do right now. Maybe grinding echoes if I really want to, but I don't know. Like the drop rates are so small that and once again doesn't feel like something really achievable. So right now, really, I don't even know myself what to do in the game until the next patch drops, which is pretty like sad to see, I would say.
I gotta admit something. So after we done Storm Twins this morning and I got the artifact, we actually did take I think it was a community member. We took him a leveling to get him to level 30. And we ended up farming, I can't remember the map, it was one of the in-game maps anyway. And quite a few of us ended up getting quite a few drops of the epic
That's
echoes there.
lucky.
And it wasn't just like, what a one off. Like we were coming out of there with three or four. It's kind of like, what is this? And it happened to, I think two out of the three of us that were farming at the time. I can't speak for anyone else that was farming at the time there because like different group and all, but um, yeah, like never seen that stuff before. But you bet your ass like you want that hollow one echo to drop in epic route. Oh no, 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 can't
I
have
mean,
that.
yeah, yesterday when I finished crafting all my stuff, I still had a bit of time to play, so I was just like, oh, I'm gonna go grind a bit of echoes. So I just went into one of the forest map because there's a bunch of enemies in there that I need echoes from. So I'm just like, I'm gonna kill everything and maybe get echoes from them. I played for like 2 hours, did about 10 run maybe not a single purple echo. I think I got maybe two blues, maybe three, and that's pretty much it. Like, it doesn't leave a good taste. Like, oh, I need to do this for like 200 different enemies now.
Yeah. Um.
So,
Oh,
also on the like statement that they don't need to grow like player population and that thing the thing right now is yeah they don't need to grow it and that I kind of agree with, but they still need to keep it stable at least because if they just keep going down like then they won't have any players to test their stuff soon. I've done a tiny bit of like checking on Steam charts. I know it's still not like the best reference, but it's at least like some data just to look at. And right now, the daily player peak is at like 1.5, maybe 2K players max on PC. Like, that is really, really small compared to what we used to have a
so
couple.
let's say we match it with PlayStation then, and that's
Yeah, I
about
mean,
four K.
the maths I'm doing is just same amount of people on PlayStation. So right now we're going to like 3K to 4K players in total from like 60K at launch.
Yeah.
That's
Um,
very little.
I won't lie, I was expecting a drop off from the launch, but I was expecting us to kind of sit around 10K
Yes, I
for
mean,
the early access, you know.
yeah, like a drop from launch is to be expected. Like not everybody's going to stick, but if we had like a good launch, like an actual working launch, out of the 60,000 people that were there, I would have expected at least like 40, maybe 30K to stay. After the bit of disaster that launch was, I was expecting 20 to 10K, and right now we're at 3 to 4K, like we're way below that. So, and I don't see it like going up for a bit at least.
No, I think it's just going to be one of those cases where this game is, it's a shame because I mean it affects everyone, right? It's affected like our guild members and the community members and stuff and the other Wayfinder players, but it's also kind of like being felt across like the content creator side as well. Like if you're a
Yeah.
new content creator making Wayfinder content, just only Wayfinder content, um, a lot of people are kind of struggling on that front as well, like to get growth or um, like let's take a look at. I'm gonna go with Inferno Blaze here and kind of put out, but the guy's still around the same amount of subs as he was a couple of weeks ago, right? And even the views on our videos, his videos, and a couple of other new YouTubers making Wayfinder content. It's tough. It is tough. It may pay off like as the game fixes, but right now, yeah, content creator wise, it's pretty tough.
I mean, even for the devs, I kind of feel for them because, from what we've seen and what we've heard from Airship, like this game is a pretty much a not progress, sorry, a passion project for like a lot of them. It's something that they've been working on for 5 years now. I think that they're just pouring everything they've got into it, pretty much. Just went 100% into it and just put their pretty much their entire company on it, and it's just crumbling down already. So it must be like so sad for them to just see it going this way already.
Yeah. I'm looking forward to the free to play launch though. I think that's going to be the telltale there, and then how they pump out content after. I mean, we're going to get a small teaser of that with how they transition from season one, season two, etc.
And
And
I
what
think
kind of
season two is going to be crucial to just see like if they can even afford to reach free to play.
yeah. I mean, right now I feel like the running behind schedule. Where they've had to. I don't think they ever planned for launch to be as bad as it was, and we've heard that was on DE's side for the servers. So cheers DE for that. Other stuff though, yeah, I feel like where they've had to work on all this stuff, like some of the content side of it has already been delayed. We've already seen that, like those weapons, for example, they were meant to come out 2 week. They said 2 weeks ago they're meant to be out now. Here we are now. Don't know if they're going to be out next week. Hopefully they are, but all that stuff's been delayed. That's 3 weeks of delay now for those weapons.
Yeah.
But again, like those weapons are I'm not saying like that they're proper content, but they provide enjoyment, right? Like different ways to play, different animations. It just kind of a breath of fresh air. I know it's only like what a couple, was it 5 weapons if that?
We have four weapons. I mean, the weapon themselves are like not massive content, but there's pretty much like at least 4 bosses that's gonna come with them, and that's like actual, new content, new enemies to farm, to learn, like maybe new maps, maybe. I'm not sure about that one. But you know, the fact that like they're already running late on schedule on a small content batch, like will we even have season 2 after 3 months like they said we would, or is that going to be delayed too?
It's really hard to tell. I think they'd have to though, kind of push that. Um, I don't think they could get away with a month delay on it, but maybe like a week or two. But they would have to push that out to get the new character, right? And that's what's going to hype people up for that is going to be the
Oh
new
yeah,
character releasing with it. So, um, but I know a lot of people in our guild have finished that battle pass. I don't know about you, but I haven't yet.
people are finished. God damn, like I'm a little bit more than halfway through right now. I think I'm like 57 probably around those. So yeah, need to get to 100. But even then, like right now I'm halfway through and I pretty much got like everything I want from the battle pass. The rest is kind of just filler fluff that I'm only gonna get because you need to have everything else to get the spider pet at the end.
Yeah,
But so right now, like even the battle pass doesn't really keep me in because I don't care about any like the stuff that I have left is either stickers, which I don't really care about, materials, which I already have too much of, or stuff that we can't even use, like the EXP thingies that are supposed to come in with season 2.
I feel like there's a lot of good stuff coming with season two. Um, I believe it was the Affinity respec as one of them as well, and we can go into some details on some of that as well.
Yeah,
Um, I feel yeah, the Affinity respec's probably a big one,
I
and
think
then
season 2 should be new character, affinity respec, probably one of the new systems. I'm not sure which one, but I'm not sure if it's gonna be archetypes or ascension or whatever. Probably some new maps, new weapons, new bosses. I mean, all
I've
that kind
also
of
heard
stuff.
mounts are coming with season two.
Are they? Oh, I thought they were for free to play launch.
No, I'm pretty sure I read somewhere, and maybe it's in the questions and answers bit on the AMA, but I'm pretty sure they said they were aiming to get mounts out for the season two to get them tested out and
Huh, interesting.
prepped. But we'll find out in a minute if we can find the question in the AMA.
Yeah.
So yeah, before we move on, then anything you want to else cover from these patch notes, or do you feel like we pretty much hit this on the head?
Uh, Tiny last thing actually that we kind of forgot about, but with the next patch, they're supposed to also bring the dust system that we talked about last week, and also finally being able to sell accessories.
Oh boy, that's big.
I Yeah, I really hope that things. I'm really confused on like why it's not working anymore because it was working in the last beta. Like we could sell stuff fine before, so I'm not sure what they broke, but they broke it good.
Okay. Let's get on. So we actually asked different members in our guild and community what they thought on the patch notes. So for all purposes of this thing, you have a handful of the comments, okay?
Okay.
But we're not going to read out the names for reasons,
Yeah.
Um, so we have someone put I've never really paid attention to the final dungeon XP gain, so like it was just minimal to begin with. Um, and then they're kind of debating like is it a lot, but it's kind of like Um, then we have another guy, uh, like kind of bringing up what you said. They can give like up to 35 XP per run and stuff.
Yeah, but well,
Um,
yeah, 35k EXP, but that's if you do everything in the dungeon. So every event, kill every enemies, explore everything, which can take up to I think 20 to 25 minutes about.
Yeah, what I'm seeing here, give or take, that's what their average is saying. Right. Um, and then I've got another one here from another member. End of expedition boss XP. It's hard to measure. Much like the in-game events, won't really know how much this impacts until it's experienced. Hunt XP increase seems great. I hope it means what we expect it to mean, though. I feel like there is a lot of room for it to not be as good as it sounds, if that's the applied word. So
Yeah,
it's kind of like, he wants it to be good, but the expectations could go either way.
yeah. I mean, from pretty much what I'm reading from our members, it's just that everyone hopes that these new XP patch will be good, but we can't really know yet because like the numbers are not really fixed. But one thing's for sure is that it's not going to be as good as the repeatable quest that we had before. Like far from it.
Yeah.
It
Um,
is a fix, but it's not like as good as it was before. So yeah,
so as someone pointed out here, right? Like 1k XP a minute, it's decent, and you can get roughly that in tier 4, uh, what like the map, right? But you got to be a high level to do it
yeah.
successfully in a good
That
time, right? Which
that's the thing weird with EXP. Like if you want to do the things that give the most EXP, you need to be like actually geared and have some decent stuff. But like if you had some decent stuff, you probably don't need that much EXP anymore because you're probably close to max level. So like
yeah,
for low levels, it's just horrible to. I mean, right now I feel like the worst part of leveling something is pretty much the middle point. Like for weapons, I've just been grinding some out just for the fun of it, just testing them, and like getting from level 1 to level 11 feels super quick. Like I can get it in maybe like a 2 hour session of just playing around with the weapon and having fun, and then from 11 to like 20, about that, yeah, 20, 22 maybe, this feels so slow and long for some. Like I'm not sure if you need much more exp when you reach those level compared to before, but it feels like it's almost double the time to get a single level from there.
the final comment I will read out is someone's kind of summed it up with, yeah, it's great, but none of this really covers the low level grind. And for me, the slowest part of leveling is between that sort of 10 to 20 area.
Yeah,
There's
same.
nothing to fill that gap. Like once you get over the 20s, you can kind of start going into the end game maps on a lower tier and pulling off some nice numbers there to get you boosted up. And like I know 28 to 30 is kind of a pain, but I'd sooner the 28 to 30 grind, to be honest, than the 10 to 20. Um, yeah, just since those books got nerfed, like not kind of fun.
Yeah, thing is too, like it really depends on what area which you like. Let's say we want to level a Wayfinder, then you need to bring a decent weapon for with you, otherwise you're just gonna get rolled on. But even that weapon like needs to be one of the actual good weapon, like let's say Tempest or Arc Storm or something like that. Because if you bring one of the weaker weapon, you're still gonna struggle since your Wayfinder won't do pretty much anything.
I
And
was
on
actually really shocked. I picked up Arc Storm. It was level 1 and it was melting through Hollow Heart.
Was it? I mean, I've been picking it up recently too. That's like the current gun I'm leveling, and it is yeah really slapping stuff. Like I'm loving it. It's does so much damage, but bringing it into Hollow Heart and actually doing like stuff, that's surprising.
Yeah, like keeping in mind when I say doing stuff, right, it's to the normal mobs, okay? It's never gonna do as much as I want it to a boss. But for level 1, kind of was shocked. Won't lie, like and that's after I've played with Tempest and stuff like that. Like, really good, really good. I mean, it's only I think I've only got up to level 12 now. Um, just from when I was playing this morning, and I think it was the Q skill on the weapon was the biggest hit I've had was 8K.
Yeah,
This
that
is on a
thing's
character that isn't spec'd too much into weapon power either, so
yeah, no, this thing's really hurt. Honestly, I'm loving our store. Like, it's a really fun gun. So I'm glad I've crafted because yeah, I'm enjoying it. But something else I want to point out for like leveling stuff is the like reverse situation that I've kind of explained before, where if you want to level a new weapon, so you bring a high level Wayfinder. The thing is, most of your damage will probably come from your weapon, usually. So now you bring like a shitty weapon in an high level zone, it's gonna be pretty painful unless you bring like Sparkstorm, like I said. But let's say you want to bring like one of the starter weapons to level it up, or even one of the underperforming weapon, like I don't know, Hellswarm, for example. You're gonna struggle in there with your Wayfinder is not gonna like replace all the damage that your weapon usually does. So
I have a solution for this. Bring a Kairos. Just bring a Kairos.
I feel like that's your solution for everything, isn't
Exactly. Need a boss
it?
killed quick? Bring a Kairos. Need a weapon leveled? Bring a Kairos. That is
Yeah,
just not much that guy can't do.
yeah, but not everyone have a Carlos like just in their back pocket, waiting to carry them. So,
I mean, that is one of the things I've actually really liked though. Is see in our guild and community, it's if you guys need to get leveled, it's us that normally end up leveling. Like with the people. If you're out there in the wild and you're playing solo, you're kind of shit out of luck because then you've got to go into the LFG and do it. But you don't want to be that guy in the LFG that's saying "carry me" to the other people that are sat there being level 30. Like don't go and grab a guild or something to do that stuff. But an LFG to and expecting to get carried, not cool, right?
or just do like me and go solo. Just open up a stream on this side and just take your time, go slow, and just watch stuff to not have it become boring. Pretty much, that's what I've been doing for a bit. But
It's a real shame you can't add imbuements while you're in the instance. Because if I had another level 2 come and join my instance, I'm gonna give him a real hard time surviving. I really
that's
would.
me.
No, but there'd be some sort of it'd be kind of like, well, if you want this, if you want us to carry you, you're gonna work for it. Like you're not just sitting there doing a pitiful amount of damage where we sit here and do all the work for you. Like that's my perspective though. I know like I'm a very niche kind of category. But I would love to inflict some pain on the people that would like to be carried in an
I mean,
LFG group in an
what
in-game map.
yeah, what you can do maybe to test them out is just throw them in the arena that's in the shrouded forest, and if they can do it, then you just carry them for the rest of the dungeon. A
You've
test
actually
of might, if you will.
given me some good ideas though. I didn't actually think about the arena. Just drag them into the arena, then jump out.
Yep.
Okay, let's move on to. I got linked this by Wolf in our guild, right? So we were asked to kind of cover this, and this was some of the notable answers from the airport AMA.
Oh yeah, I remember that. I actually brought one of the dev in. Yeah.
Yeah, so we I know we roughly spoke about some of this last podcast, if I remember correctly, possibly. But we're gonna go into it a little bit more, because we was asked to mention some of this stuff. So, uh, for this purpose, I'm not gonna mention every name that asked the question, but I will mention the airship person that replied. Okay.
Yeah, seems fair.
So we got, yo, alright. Will there be other Prime-like variants outside of heroics? And currently, no. Heroics are it. So heroics are the top tier. Like, there's no tier above. There's no other kind of variants planned at this point in time. Like, heroics are it. So if you like Warframe, there's primes, but there's no umbras.
I mean, to be honest, I feel like this does make sense because if they do add another tier like above heroic, people are gonna feel kind of scammed out for heroic Kairos, probably. So I don't think they will probably ever do it. Then again, Warframe did do it, but like Excalibur Umbra is not a tier above, really. It's just like a slightly different Warframe, right?
I would argue he's better than the Prime, to be fair, outside of look. I feel like the Prime's got the look, but in usability, the Umbra's there.
Yeah. I mean, yeah, Umbra is kind of better just because his skills that he gets are actually better than Excalibur's base
I
skills,
mean,
but
just going into operator mode and having him
yeah, that
kills.
too. Yeah, no, yeah, you're not wrong. But then again, like Umbra came in what, like at least 7 years into the game, some 6, 7 years, something like that.
Yeah, it
I don't
was a
know.
while.
Yeah.
Okay. So let's go on with the next one. So, will there be a reset when free to play starts? And Solid has put no. That's it.
Simple and I mean that we already kind of knew. We've been saying it for a bit, but yeah, no full reset or anything. When free to play starts, everything we've done in early access is supposed to stay with us, which is nice because I think like early access would feel kind of like a waste if they did a full reset. So
Yeah. Next one for you, Bing, actually, is
yeah.
an ETA on Affinity Respec. Next Founder season. So that's season 2.
Oh well.
That's that one.
I mean, I'm glad that's coming because I mean the button is like right there in the menu. It's just teasing us. Like I really want, especially because I've did the same mistake for both my Wingrave and my Venomous, where I was just messing around and I've put like a single point in all three of their affinities, which mean that I can't ever like get two affinities maxed out pretty much unless I
Yeah.
respec, which is really dumb of me. But I mean, right now we can't even have two affinities maxed out because we are missing a point for some reason. That's also supposed to be coming with season two. So,
Yeah. Oh, got another one here for you as well. Are mounts expected for season 2? Solid. Yep.
well,
There
fair
you go.
enough. I mean, I
Mounts confirmed,
really,
right?
yeah, I really thought mounts were for free to play, and season two would be the hook shot that we've seen in some trailers. But I mean, I'm down for mounts. Mounts are sick. So.
So we
Actually,
have
I
got one
actually
here
have
that
one. I actually have
good.
one I want to read. It kind of glossed over just because it answers something a lot of people have been asking for a bit,
Yeah,
which
go for it.
is what exactly changes loot wise when you change spheres? Because
I
right
was
now,
I was just coming on to that one.
well,
That's perfect time.
yeah, I'm stealing that one for you then. So, what changed when we, go up in sphere level? Because right now it doesn't feel like it changes anything, which I mean, pretty much the case. So the answer we have from Snarf is it multiplied the amount of resource dropped and the level of accessories, and that's it. So more resource, more accessories. It doesn't change drop rates. Doesn't like just more, but I think I saw it somewhere else, so not like 100% confirmed. But I think the amount of resource drop it's just for like basic materials. It's not for like rare loots or echoes or anything like that. It's just basic materials and that's it.
Yeah,
So
it feels
not
like that, like the
much.
gold and stuff.
Yeah.
Um, okay, let's see what one would be a nice one here.
Well, while
Okay,
you're go ahead.
I do have. Here we go. So this one kind of intrigued me because it kind of got me excited now with different ways I go about it. Will there be? So someone asked, will there be any frost slash ice themed wayfinders in the near future? Snarf replied, expect all sorts of wayfinders. Gotta emphasize that all.
Yeah, all with like 6 L's.
You know what that means, right?
Not sure. What does it mean?
Necromancer Wayfinder confirmed.
Oh boy. That's her dream. Necromancer, yeah.
I still can't believe it's not in the base game, to be fair, but
Yeah. I mean, one wish I for future Wayfinders that we kind of already can see with the Lion guy, if he's actually the next Wayfinder, is I hope they really go like out there for Wayfinder appearance and like style all that stuff. Because right now I feel like the Wayfinders that we have, while they are cool looking, they're a bit basic. I feel like they're all just normal people in somewhat decent gear, and that's pretty much it. Like there's nothing really like crazy or really like pushed about them,
I actually do
other
have.
than like Kairos, but
I see one skin, okay, and it is a Cairo skin. It is on the roadmap under personas.
oh yeah, that one.
That looks pretty nice. It looks a
Yeah.
very like a mesmer kind of
I mean
skin.
I almost wish like it was an actual Wayfinder instead of just a Kairos skin.
I know you don't like Kairos much. It feels bad.
No, I do like Kairos, even though it's not my cup of tea. But like, I feel like that type of character will something like that, or something like the trickster that's already in the game would make for a pretty sick Wayfinder.
You know what? I actually have to agree with you there. Thinking about that because that skin screams out Guild Wars 2 Mesmer to me.
Yeah,
Kairos doesn't really play like a Guild Wars 2 Mesmer. So that skin like could have been its own unique thing. And it would have, you could have had some like I know like you can clone yourself abilities or something and it taunts the enemies, something like that.
I mean that's
Um
ripping straight from Silo at that point, but
no, but his is just a hologram. I'm on about like you're putting out like two or three different clones of yourself and it's
yeah,
very like kind of more miniony play, but
yeah, I see what you mean.
or even
It's just chaos and
phantasm.
confusion.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah,
Just something like that. You could have introduced a new dot to the game as well, like confusion being one, but not 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 that we want to straightly rip off Guild Wars 2 or for but you could have put your own spin on that kind of theme and brought that in a mob.
yeah. But yeah, like I really hope future Wayfinder are not just normal people in armor. I think that's it. Like I hope they really go out there and do some crazy things because we see some crazy things from other NPCs and enemies that are around, but we don't play as them.
Um, I have another question on from here. This one's gonna be for the grinders out there right now. I don't think it'll matter to you too much, but I'm sure some of you would want to know this. Are there any plans for a fourth rarity of Echo past Epic? Maybe like Legendary? Snarf said probably, but it's not planned at the moment.
I
But
feel that would be something for like a future expansion or something. Though I will say, like, I am surprised there's no legendary echoes since, like, the normal rarity system on pretty much any game is common, uncommon, rare, epic, legendary. And right now we stop at epic for some reason. So, like,
yeah. Ah. I mean, I've seen the word. Can't remember if it was YouTube or Twitch. There was someone on about you can buy legendaries in Wayfinder. They were trying to go the pay to win. Because I think in the shop, right? Or was it the shop? Somewhere there's a description about some of the weapons. And I think I think it was the fiery greatsword or something, was described as a legendary weapon.
I mean, maybe that's just like, fluff text just to make it look cool. I mean, that doesn't
Yeah.
just descriptive text pretty much. I don't
Um,
think.
an- Another question we do have is, could we eventually see dual scythes?
Yeah, I was checking that one too.
Wouldn't mind, two scythes are always better than one. But Snarf put dual something is coming, and I'm gonna assume that's probably swords.
I feel it would be a bit too similar to daggers. I mean, the thing with dual daggers that we have right now is technically speaking, they are called twin strikers. So it's not limited to daggers. Like it could be swords, it could be axes, it could be I don't know, it could be freaking maces for some reason, like dual maces. Okay. Like could be anything. It doesn't specify that it has to be daggers.
I'm gonna actually let you pick one out here.
I I will just say, just wrapping up that dual stuff. My guess for like dual something that's coming would be like dual guns, like pistols or SMGs or something like that.
Going
More
already into the game with SMGs, huh?
yeah, just doing a drive by on some people. Anyway, what else is? I think yes, someone.
Do you want me to go with
No,
another?
I got one.
Cool.
Uh, Any plan to tweak EXP rates anytime soon, which is pretty topic right now. So we have an answer from an Airship employee, which was not in the uh, original MA. Actually, is Madsen, I think his name is. Yeah, Madsen. So EXP scrolls will be usable in Founder Seasons 2, which should help a lot. So yeah, these scrolls are like there's two of them, so only for Wayfinder or only weapons. So we have to farm both of them, but right now they're dropping in pretty decent quantity. I'm just not sure how much EXP they will give.
I'm honestly waiting for them to only reward 40 XP a click.
I mean, I would expect like 1K per scroll would be decent, but
You're
and
asking for
yeah,
too much there.
nah, I think it would like make sense, but we'll see. And the rest of the post is we fixed a bug with repeatable side quests give it too much EXP, but we are working on a pass for side quest rewards, which will have more appropriate EXP payouts because right now they're currently too low, and
So,
they will
so,
also
it,
give some materials with it. So that's pretty interesting.
so to basically say then that when we said like we'd love to know what they were smoking about nerfing it down to 420 XP, would you take from that that they kind of realized that they messed up there and
Yeah, I think they're just pretty much keeping face right now, just saying it was intended, but we're making a second pass because it's not working.
just put that value back at something like 3 to
Yeah,
5k. Like I'm not going into instances collecting pages if it's only going to give me 420 XP. I don't even get out of bed for 420 XP. It's not happening.
yeah. I mean, honestly, I would hope like at least getting the same amount of XP that you get from the actual run, because otherwise it's not worth it really to like do that when you can just do a run and get more and like do other stuff in that at the same time.
Okay, I do have a question. This is
Go
kind of
ahead.
a long one though. I understand that you guys want Wayfinder to be a challenging game at times. But have you considered that the game becomes quite challenging too quickly for new players in fights such as the First or Dread Legion? Especially that you need to farm these bosses for quite some time for crafting character weapons. Don't you think this might serve as a deterrent for the average players that are just starting out in the game? He goes on to clarify that he can solo them. I hope you can, buddy, because they're kind of easy in that sense. But I believe the harder content should be delayed more in order to draw in and keep the players' attention of new players.
Yeah. So,
Uh,
well, that post and seeing some of our guildies made me realize that maybe, some of these bosses are maybe not as easy as we think they are. Because I've seen a couple people struggling with like the first or the Dread Legion, or even some like earlier bosses like Archon Commander and stuff like that. That myself I find are super easy. I can just solo them without sweating. But
I
I
actually have to comment on that part that you just said there, though. Right, so when you're on about some of our guildies with Dread Legion and stuff,
yeah.
when we after we've like taken them into Dread Legion and killed it for them and stuff, we then have a look at their gear, like what they're running, and it's not pretty. It hasn't been pretty, so it's been quite painful. In fact, like they're getting the wrong stuff. And I'm not sure, like, maybe, I'm not sure if it's just them or, but it seems to be a common issue. So I'm assuming a lot of people are kind of just starting in things that they think will help them, but it's actually hurting them. Like slapping
Yeah.
on a lot of defense on Silo instead of like focusing on like weapon power, stuff, stuff that's actually gonna do more damage. Because I've taken in a Wingrave. It's not level 30, but he was still doing more damage than a Silo in this. Kind of
I
makes me
mean,
question like how are people specing their stuff, and it does there need to be more awareness on like your character's main attributes of this. Like
I
this is
mean,
what you should be aiming for.
there should be awareness that some of the stats are not working properly, like the defense one. But other than that, like even myself, I'm kind of just slapping on anything I've got without really thinking about it. Like I'm just putting accessories that give the most amount of power and just filling my echoes with whatever matches with what I have. But I'm not trying to be optimal or put any pretty specific stat in, and I'm soloing stuff pretty fine, like not struggling at all. So I'm not sure if like almost want to say it's a skill issue or something, but like
You
maybe
know, I thought about that, and I wasn't gonna go there with the skill issue,
I will.
just by how many people had the issue. I do get like a skill issue is part of it, right? Because the game's new to a lot of people, so not everyone's kind of on it, But yeah, I don't know, like that or a combination of both. Because I know Dread Legion, for example, it does knock a lot of new players off because you always get that one guy if you go in the LFG. You'll do that little pre-event thing, right? And then someone will just go and leap, expecting to land onto the platform, only for it to disappear. They've then started the boss encounter, and everyone there that knows what they're doing is then taking damage. They have to kind of rush across to stay alive. Do you get what I mean? Like, I
Yeah.
can't. There's got to be a couple that do it on purpose, knowing that that's the effect. But from my point of view, though, bosses in this game, from a 12-year-old MMO vet, I was expecting harder. I really was. Um, from my point of view, like the first playthrough that I done of them, they were challenging because I didn't know the mechanics and the ins and outs and stuff. After you do them a few times, though, nothing really changes. And putting it on higher tiers doesn't really introduce new mechanics, which was a disappointing factor for me on that fact. Like, you're just gonna buff the damage and HP of the boss on the higher tiers. Like, where's the extra mechanics? I was kind of expecting them to add more in, or like for the
Yeah,
first, for example, could have some more walls or quicker walls, and you've got to get
yeah.
into
I mean,
position more.
that's stuff I expect to be coming with the heroic version that they've been talking about. But just for basic sphere stuff, I think it's fine that the bosses stay as they are. But yeah, I do have some expectation for actual heroic bosses that are supposed to be really freaking hard
But
because
but can you honestly say right now, right? And you're a very casual player compared to me, right? Can you honestly say you struggle with any of the bosses in this game doing what you do? Is there any that wipe your lives, any that you can't do, and you go, guys, I really need help with this?
right now, nope. Like even yesterday when we did the event that Malt was organizing, at like one of the part of the event was trying to get to the first and like get to our last phase when she just spams like projectiles and meteors everywhere and just try to survive for as long as we can there. And while we were fighting the boss on Sphere 4 with the flora and solar improvements, like the big like freighters that come out of the ground and just do damage. So, bit of a pain, but like I was just, running around, chilling, dodging a lot of stuff, not really struggling, while I was seeing Malt and the other player that was with us trying to do the challenge, just, trying to survive for their lives, just chugging potions and going down all the time. I was like, how are you guys struggling with this? I don't know. So, I don't know. For me, the game feels easy, but I feel like for other people, it's really not. It's weird.
I mean, the if I can give some tips, okay? If you want to learn the first on any Wayfinder, put a sword and shield on. You can choose the walls by blocking, and then that way it gives you a little more time to learn the ins and out of that pattern. Because the walls are where I see a lot of people die. Also, the black balls. Just keep moving around on that phase. Don't stand still, and
Yeah.
just dodge when one lands on you. As for the beam attack, there's like a charge up attack she does. Okay, here's another tip for the first. There's a charge up sound. Listen to it, and that's your key to always dodging that attack. There's also a couple of safe spots on that map for that charged attack as well. There's like a stone area on the first platform. You will never get hit by that attack if you stand by one of the pointing out spikes.
Yeah. I mean, one tip that I do have also for this charge attack is to just kind of keep running around because when she does charge it, she will, track you and like rotate to keep the attack on you. But when she's actually really close to throw it, she will stop. So when you see that she stops moving, can just roll away on the side and the attack will not follow you.
Yeah. The only other thing I could really say is the only trouble I actually had with like the first and stuff um, was I was taking a level 5 sword and shield to the fights on a Wingrave who wasn't specced out with a lot of weapon power at the time because I really didn't want to mess around with the trinkets when I think another level or two I could have just put better trinkets on. So I was just trying to save time, but the only phase I had was the last phase, 10% phase, whatever you call that thing, where she kept raining down the bombs.
Yeah.
My ultimate's on, like, it's not charged yet. That's the only trouble I had, really. I could just keep running around for minutes at an end, but just couldn't get the time in there to really do any meaningful damage. And in the end, it kind of just got boring. But if you can do it on a Wingrave like that, on a level 5 weapon that doesn't do a lot of damage, just imagine like a reasonable weapon level. And I'm pretty sure you guys can do it. But it is mainly the walls I am seeing killing people and the charged attack. The attack's just got a good sound, so always never get hit by that.
I'm really surprised about the walls because I feel it's almost like the easiest part of the fight. Just see the walls coming, just move to the side, and if two of them are like somewhat close to one another, just roll between them, and you're good. I don't know. They don't feel really hard. Like I just stand in the middle of the arena where like the two lines that are always there just stay, and I just left, right, dodge the walls, and
There's one more tip I'm going to give for Dread Legion, okay? And this is also the biggest killer to a new player. Timing of the platforms. Got 2 platforms for most of this stuff, yeah?
yeah.
One disappears, the other disappears. When the other disappears, count 2, jump. That's your safe strat there. That works throughout the whole fight. When you see the last platform disappear, count 2, jump. You'll make it through the end the whole time. Just be quick about moving as well. Careful also how you latch up on the wall. On the second jump, there's some. I know when we originally done it, there was some. We couldn't latch onto the wall properly to pull ourselves up. So
Yeah, I mean, latching is kind of working half the time only. So. But for the platforms, like what I've been doing, pretty much just stand right next to the edge where the platform should spawn. And the second I see it spawn, I just, sprint and jump, and the other one should spawn under me while I'm in the air. So
yeah, do you do the shortcut method at all in Dread Legion? Curious.
I I've vaguely heard of it, but I don't know like how to actually do it. So I've just been doing the fight properly, and I haven't had any struggle with any of the platforms really. Like you just start running when they show up, and you should do the jump just fine.
I've also noticed one thing. We haven't actually read out the response from this yet. May want to get onto that. So to this question about it being challenging, Snarf has replied, the goal is to have an entry level with the story first sphere. So the first tier story. Then offer a challenge to players with higher tiers, spheres, whatever you call them in this game. And eventually heroic variety hunts. So I guess for people like me that want the challenge, gotta wait for the heroic. Hopefully they don't allow you to bypass phases in the heroic. The fact that you can do it in this game is it's kind of like a double-edged sword, right? It's great to do, it's good fun to do, but the fact that you can cheese most of the fight isn't really challenging in that sense either.
I mean, you are playing a Kairos that does like 150k damage, so maybe you are kind of setting yourself up for that. Because I mean,
I
I've
mean,
been playing normally, like
I wanna just clarify. There is a nest that I've seen that does Storm Twins. I think in like 30 or 50 seconds. It's like crazy low time. Like, is it just Kairos?
I don't know. I mean, I feel like DPS Wayfinders kind of do a lot of DPS in general. Like I've been leveling my Venomous recently, and just adding some stats here and there passively as I go. And for some reason, like poison just started to do so much damage to enemies, like just out of nowhere. It's like before I was just seeing little ticks of damage here and there, with like it help out to just finish off an enemy or something. But like right now, it just takes chunks of health, and like with our ult, I've just been nuking people pretty much. Like don't know where all that damage is coming from, but yeah, damage feels quite high right now, and I'm not sure if it's intended or not.
Well, that brings me on to my next question, okay? So,
Yeah.
we have someone here. Could you share the crit chance formula? And this answer, I won't lie, kind of annoyed me. No. calculators kill fun, but they are inevitable. So, for a lot of people that like to min-max, that don't kill the fun. For the casual people, that kills the fun.
And
Probably.
even
But it
as a
does help
casual,
them.
I would like an actual stat. But I think like just to defend Snarf here a bit, I think like they will give the formula. I just think Snarf doesn't have it with him because I've seen him like ask for it a couple times and he just never have it. So I think it's
My only thing is, if it's inevitable, release the information then. Like, you're not. It's gonna come at some point. Someone's gonna find this stuff, or you're like, you know how this stuff gets released. Someone's gonna like mine this game or something. Just release it. It is fun. It's fun for people like me. You holding that stuff back, it is taken away from our fun. Like, and in fairness, you're taken away from your balance of the game as well. Because if you've got some broken stats, trust me, the math nerds are absolutely going to tell you where the outliers are, and you can balance around that as well.
yeah.
I mean, like, there's loads of guys like I know of like in Guild Wars 2. They literally have spreadsheets of data, and they have like all the modifiers, all the buff calculations in there, and they will tell you the exact amount of damage or DPS a class should have before they've even benchmarked any of the changes to those in a balance update. So before a balance update, we roughly are going to know where the classes are in terms of damage. And if something's kind of overkill and that data is shared, I'm not saying it's happened in Guild Wars 2, but I'm just saying because the devs would never confirm if they did or not. But if that data is shared, people can go, well, actually, if this is projected to be 60k and the average bench in that game is 40k, we clearly messed up here. Like, they can kind of tweak it down a little bit from there. But I don't agree with calculators kill the fun because it helps the casuals as well. Like, the casuals will then need to know how much crit they need, for example, because right now they're running around like headless chickens with like lots of HP and a lot of defense on a DPS character because they don't know. No one's told them. And sure, there's like YouTubers and streamers out there, but not everyone watches that stuff. If I made a guide tomorrow how to build your Kairos, sure, I get people watch it, right? But doesn't mean everyone's gonna that information isn't passed on to everyone.
Yeah, and
And
the
the
thing
information
is,
I give is given as opinion as well. Like,
yeah, that's not like factual stuff. That's what I was about to say. Like you can, tell people how to build, but like you don't even know if the stats you're putting in are like doing what you think they are. So,
yeah, like I'm at the opinion. I've seen a couple of people build like Kairos to over 15k AP and stuff. And don't get me wrong, that looks good when it actually crits, right? But I would actually like to invest in crit rating because I feel like if that stat works as intended, the damage would be higher. Wouldn't be as big, but it would be more frequent. So you'd have more DPS because that big hit may only do 20k more. But in the time it takes me to crit again, I could have hit 40, 50k more just from having more crit chance.
yeah,
Um, I don't know, man. I'm getting a little too into it on the
yeah.
math side of this, but
Basically, makes stats more clear and understandable. Thank you.
yeah, pretty much. Like, go on. Next one's
Uh,
all yours, buddy.
Yeah, I have actually one that kind of goes with a bit with stats and just optimizing. And the question is, will craftable accessories be upgradable in the future? Because just for reference, right now we can craft some accessories in Skylight, but they are all like really freaking bad. So there's no point in crafting them, and like unless you really need something of your level. So the answer for that is we do want to have a way to keep relics relevant so you can keep set bonuses. Because yes, some of them have bonuses that come if you like equip the whole set, which is interesting, but right now is not even really like used because as I said, relics are just not worth using right now. So yeah, they do want to have a way to keep relics relevant and upgrade them because right now they will fall behind at pretty much any state of the game. I
I'm
think that's
gonna
interesting because I would like to use relics. Thing. So I've kind of just glossed over them quickly, but some of the set stuff seems interesting. But like I said, right now there's no point in using it because like you're just dropping a massive amount of stats for that set bonus.
So, next question then. Any plans on doing live events or holiday themes? Skins, items, bundles? Solid replies. Yup, stay tuned. With a Christmas tree.
That one is interesting because they did kind of tease already that they want to do seasonal events and holiday stuff, but I think they said they want to do it like as in an in-world thing. So, like for example, if there's a Christmas event, it won't actually be Christmas. It'll be like whatever the equivalent is in the Wayfinder world. So, pretty interesting to see what they will pull out for that. But,
Another one here was the weapon dies.
mm,
Um,
that
they're
one I won't.
apparently they're apparently coming soon, right? As well. It may take a sleuth to figure out, but I have faith you guys will get it quickly. And he does post a picture of a scythe that's been dyed, right? That's from Solid there.
Yeah,
Um,
I'm not sure if weapons will have like their own individual die or if they will share the same dies as Wayfinder does. Because right now, like the image that we have of a like white and pink Kairos holding a white and pink die, like I'm not sure if they have the exact same die on them or if it's two different dies that just match.
to also go back to the hard mode hunt stuff. There is another question here, like will challenging content like hard mode hunt be added during EA, or are they planned for free to play launch? So we know that they were planned for free to play launch, but Solid does reply it's something we'd like to do before free to play, but it's not a guarantee at this point. EA is about smoothing out the new player experience and the early game. The rest will definitely come, just may take a little longer. So they are going to try to get that in EA, but no guarantees. Don't take that as a promise.
Yeah, I mean, as long as they keep up with like interesting content, I don't really mind that. You know, being further in EA, but yeah, I do hope that we'll have at least some kind of challenging content until then, just to spice things up a bit.
Yeah, I think it'd be fun. Um, you know what? I wouldn't even mind if they gave a little teaser. Like at least one boss in heroic or something as a taste of what's to come. I think that'd be pretty good. Um, just to kind of let people wet their toes and see what all that's about, what the difference could be.
Yeah, I really hope like harder bosses, from like heroic or anything else will have like new unique attacks that will shift the fight from what it's usually. Just kind of have to relearn the boss a little bit, but use what you already know from it as a base.
I do have a really good one here actually, but this one's going to be kind of hard to describe on a podcast without visual, but we'll go for it. We'll give it a go. Hopefully, you will kind of get it to those listening. I can't see the question to this, So I'm going to assume this wasn't a response to a question. But Snarf has posted, how much would you like to be able to dye character VFX? For example, Kairos' hair slash flame, which currently isn't dyeable. I believe like part of that still
Yeah, part
remains
of
like
it still, yeah, it remains purple no matter what. I mean, I would be more stoked to like change the either the color or like the overall appearance of character abilities. That would be nice, just to have it matching with whatever your look is. That would be really nice. I know WoW does it, where you can like use scrolls or whatever they're called to like change the look of some of your abilities, and I think it's a really like cool and flavorful thing. So I really hope there's something like that in Wayfinder, because that would be really nice.
yeah. Um, and I'll do you want to follow up the last question right at the bottom of that as well? Because that's a pretty good one for all those grinders out there.
I mean, I would, but I actually want to talk about the one just above because I think it's going to be interesting. So that one was actually yesterday from the time we're recording this right now, and it's Snarf saying that they are planning the first dev stream. So that's already like an interesting news that they didn't have, that they're planning to do a dev stream, which is really nice because we've been wanting for a dev stream for a long time right now. And so is saying that that dev stream will have a big component of lessons learned from launch week, current state of the game, and plans for moving forward. So I think that's going to be a really interesting stream that I'm not sure when it's supposed to be, but like I think don't miss it out. That's
I'm
gonna
actually glad you brought that up because I didn't even see that. The fact that they have a big component on lessons learned from launch week, that's something we've gone over in previous podcast episodes. Like, where's the acknowledgement of, um, here's how this got messed up, and here's how we're going to improve that for the free to play launch, for example. Sounds like a pretty big deal there, like it'd be worth. I'd definitely tune in to watch that, just to kind of have the hit it from the horse's mouth kind of thing instead of a Discord post.
Yeah, so I hope they do release like a date for that soon because I'm definitely gonna tune in for it. Just want to know like what is up, pretty much.
Yeah, it'd be interesting to see how spoilery they go into that with some of the more back end stuff on this launch and some of the issues they faced over the weeks, right? Because a lot of what we're hearing is like off very out of context Discord posts that they do, and it's very brief. So you don't get a lot of context around some of the stuff they've dealt with. And them
Yeah,
diving into that would definitely be great.
yeah. If they do like go in detail for that kind of stuff, I really hope they'll be like as transparent as possible. Just say why if like stuff broke down and really go into deep of it, even if like we can't understand it all. At least just put it out so we know what happened, pretty much.
I actually
That's
found a different one I wanted to end on as well. Well, not end on. Second the last one. I wanted to squeeze this one in here as well
go ahead.
because we covered the artifact grinds earlier. Um, so someone asked, how about increasing the artifact drop rate? And Snarf replied, they're meant to be, and we were specifically asked to have a very rare drops in game. They're not changing the artifacts. They are meant to be as grindy and hard as to get. So I guess for you, Ping, if you want if you want that artifact, you're gonna
I
have to
am
do
not grinding for the Rendeceiver one. Is if it drops, it drops. If it doesn't, like I mean, at least I'm lucky with that because the only one I'm missing is the one that increase like gold drop. Like I don't really need that, but I have the two ones that actually like affect like dungeons and boss runs in the sense that they give you ability power and one makes so that your potion heals all your team. So that's pretty useful to have. So, I'm glad to have those two, and I'll be sticking with those two for now because I am not grinding Grand Deceiver. He is not fun.
Okay, and we got time just for one more because we are coming up to time now. Do you wanna? I'll let you do the last one. This is by Ness. Right at the bottom.
Let's see. Do we have like a juicy one just to end it up? Well, I have one right there. It's pretty interesting. Like it doesn't go in details, but it's a pretty nice tease, I feel. So the
Go.
question is, do you have plans to expand the helper system? Because right now the helper system is pretty bare bones. We have to say there's not much reason to do it unless you really, really need some trickster key for some reason.
Go on.
And Solid has answered that they do have some big changes planned for it. So I'm not sure if they're trying to like rework the system or adding like bigger rewards to it, but they are planning some big stuff for the helper queue, and I do hope that it's gonna make it like actually relevant.
Arcade bones. So you get people to join the helper queue. Arcade bones.
Yeah. Or I mean, honestly, any like material that's tied to events like the bows, the orbs for the codex, all stuff like that, like anything like that should be added to Helper Q. I feel just to like you said, have people actually wanting to join it because you need so much of these materials.
Okay, so here's the other one. Can you give me an answer how high the inventory limit is at the moment?
The
Um,
one that they're planning to put for
no, no, no.
accessories.
This is the one in game, I think, right now. Because Snarf goes at the moment, I believe, non-intentional maximum is around 5,000.
Is it?
Yeah.
Huh. I thought it was unlimited. Well then.
I mean, I guess that it was put at 5,000 because they didn't think someone would hoard 5,000, but um, yeah, there are people apparently at that cap right now. In what's it been over a month now?
Yeah. Thing
Um,
is, like the not it's not really clear. Like the question is just for the inventory limit is, but inventory limit is that accessories? Is that echoes? Is that both of them
I
combined?
when I put a few echoes in other accessories, I'm able to get new echoes and accessories. I have
Uh,
no idea how what that context is there for that one.
Context feels like it's combined, but first I'm surprised it is like actually sharing the same inventory right now. But because I feel like 5,000 echoes doesn't feel that like hard to get. Yeah, I'm not sure how many I have right now, but 5K echoes with the amount we currently get like per hunt feel like pretty achievable, especially if
Yeah,
you don't like fuse stuff or anything. So
yeah.
I'm surprised there was a cap in the first place. Thought it was just unlimited, and that's what was like causing issues.
Because I know a couple of our lot have like they're pretty much at the cap or approaching cap on that, and they haven't upgraded any echoes since they've played the game, like none at all.
That's on them, I
So
think.
a couple of them before runs now are just leveling up echoes to trash the old ones. If that makes sense to try and free up because they don't want to be getting an epic rarity and it doesn't get added right to their inventory. So
Yeah, I mean, I've been like fusing echoes, just using like ones that actually don't give a lot of EXP, just trash as much as I can to clear space. Because otherwise, like my echo like UI starts to get laggy and stuff.
yeah, be interesting to see how much that. I am looking forward to the patch though, and be interesting to see how much of a performance increase
Yeah,
we're gonna get because we've kind of I won't say we've heard it before, but heard similar things on a different patch, and wasn't as hasn't been that great. It wasn't people are still having those big lag issues and stuff. So hoping this is the one. To be fair, to be optimal.
yeah. I mean, I think it kind of needs to be at this point.
But yeah, I guess that is the we're at the end of the podcast for this. Like this is the end of the episode, pretty much. Like we're out of time.
Yep. We.
Obviously, we could go on for another hour easily, but
Oh yeah, there's so many questions in there. I mean, a lot of them are interesting, but yeah, we would be there for hours if we went through everything. But I'm pretty like I for the dev stream now that I know there's one coming because that's gonna be pretty interesting. I think.
quick mention to this actually is the Wayfinder Wednesdays that they're doing, which can be located on their website. Um, so it's just like we're finally here, and they're going to be bi-weekly, uh, used from the team, providing updates, news, and more. Um, so I'm looking forward to that as well, and I hope they really do go into specifics. I mean, they have further down on the post of stuff we covered from last podcast, right? Um, but it'd be nice to see, the next patch go up on here and how much depth they go into. Because at the moment, I think they kind of done okay with the last set of patch notes. Because it wasn't, oh, we've just nerfed XP down to how it was, but how much XP has that been nerfed by? Yeah, they went into a few specifics here on these patch notes. So credit where credit's due. Yeah, I was happy with that. Could it have been better? Sure, but it's a step in the right direction. I feel, and can't knock them for trying.
Yep, absolutely. I mean, what I think we'll really see with the next patch, since it's going to be a bigger one, so like if the patch notes are really clear and detailed, then I think they may have actually figured it out. So we'll see next week, hopefully, if it doesn't get delayed again.
Yeah. Well, I think that's it being right.
Yeah,
There's
I
not
think.
much left to say other than if you've enjoyed listening to this, be sure to leave us a like. Consider subscribing if you've not to. There's plenty of you listening that aren't subscribed at the moment. Perhaps this conversation has earned your subscription to us. Who knows? But Bing, do you wanna wrap up for me, buddy?
I mean, you've pretty much said all the good stuff already, so like, share, subscribe, all that jazz. And otherwise, we will be seeing you all next week.
Yep, same time next week. Catch you all later.
See ya, everyone.